What is up, fellow summoners? What is up, fellow summoners? What is up, summoners? Welcome to the channel today.
Have your attention. I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I love donuts.
Are you kidding me? Oh no! If I had my webcam on right now, I would turn it on and make out with my laptop.
Alright, well, I'm gonna drown my sorrows in this little Debbie patriotic cupcake. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Character review on the brand new Thor Fraggle Rock. No, not Fraggle Rock. Kids, don't quit on your dreams, man. I can't believe that happened! Well, children, not all stories have a happy ending, and this apparently is one of them.
It's true. It was a terrible opening. I picked a really good song to end that one. Okay. Music was such a big part of the channel. I knew I wanted it to be from the very beginning. I think it's one of the areas where I was able to kind of differentiate myself. Not to get into all of that though. Hope you enjoyed the beginning of that video. That could have gone on a really, really long time. There were so many funny moments over like, what was it, 10 to 12 months, and there was just a couple of videos that I pulled that from. I mean, I could have made that like 20 to 30 minutes long. Without even going into the live streams, and you know, if you were there, there were some crazy moments in the live streams. So anyway, the title to this video is probably going to be something along the lines of channel update, or I don't look back, or I don't know. But the main purpose, I think I said porpoise. Can we start over? So the main purpose of the video today, as I mentioned in the last video, was I feel like I have an obligation, not really an obligation because that makes it seem like I don't want to do it, but I feel like I really owe it to you guys to kind of check in and give you guys an update as to what has gone on, what happened, how the family's been, the whole 9 yards, and then kind of what the plans and ideas are for moving forward. I'm sorry, I just cracked my fingers right in the microphone. It's like 12:19. I don't know why I'm deciding now is a great time to record, because my mind is just kind of all over the place. So let's just let's take a step back. So let's go here. Let's go to the beginning. Let me pull up. Hopefully this will work with me here. Yes, here it is. So story time. This was. Let me get it pulled up on my screen so I can see it as well. What's the timestamp on this? So this was February the 22nd, 2018. So for those of you that that have been around the channel for a long time, you know that I won't go into all of the backstory, but where I live, this may sound crazy and unbelievable, but we have access to literally no internet where I am at. When we moved here, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's right next to a highway. We never thought in a million years when we moved here to bother to check and see if there was a provider here. So long story short, I don't know why I just did that. The long story short is I had an office. I had a stake in an insurance company, and it was my office, and I decided to start the channel basically out of that office, which obviously had internet. So during the day, I was working a full-time job trying to manage and grow this office by myself, while also simultaneously trying to grow this channel. And so all throughout the day, I would work my normal job. I'd have my work computer, I'd have this laptop, which I'm currently using, and I would be editing things, phone calls, trying to play the game to get video footage. Like it was just a crazy day from the moment that I woke up. And so I'd work until, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever it needed to be. Go home, spend time with the family, and then get right back to the office in the evening, either to finish editing videos or to stream. And that went on for about a year. And this was towards, as we got to the 1 year mark in the channel, this was the end of my 2-year contract that I had with this company. And when I signed up, there was a whole laundry list of basically sales goals and quotas and growth charts and yada, 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 income that I had to meet, which was a fairly new program. And I had a really good relationship with my district manager. The office actually, it was in a really, really bad position when I took it. There were a lot of circumstances that were completely out of my control. And just a lot of things that came together that made it really, really hard to grow. But at the end of the day, we were growing. And I was actually, when you looked at all of the agents in the state that I was in, I was one of the top new agents for the entire state for my 2-year contract. So my district manager, he and I had a really good relationship. He kept telling me, hey, you're coming up at the end of your 2-year contract. You haven't quite necessarily hit all the goals, but obviously the office has grown. Retention's really good. We like what you're doing. Don't worry about it. We'll give you an extension. So for weeks and weeks, he had been telling me this. So when it finally came down to the day of the meeting where he was going to show up and we were going to discuss all this stuff, I was assuming like we're going to sign paperwork, we're going to keep this thing moving. And that's not what happened. So he showed up, and within 5 minutes, it was over. I signed paperwork, signed everything back over to them. They forwarded the phones. They locked me out of the computers. Just like that. Like that morning, I had a job and a career path, and a couple hours later, it was gone. And as a kind of a secondary effect of that, obviously, because I don't have access to any legitimate internet here at my home, and especially back then, 3 years ago, it was even much, much worse than it is now. But that meant that we had a channel that was growing, that I loved, that I spent a bunch of time in, that was there that morning and was gone that afternoon. So actually, it wasn't even that afternoon. So if you look at this tweet, this was at 10:46. That meeting, I think, was at I want to say it was 10:30, 10:15, 10:30. So this was immediately the tweet that I sent out after I found that out. Which I still had the keys to the office and the Wi-Fi. Obviously, I knew the password there, so I think it's funny. We'll possibly stream tonight. I had no concept. It was hard for me to wrap my brain around the fact, what had just happened. And so I was still planning on streaming that night, which obviously we know now didn't happen. So obviously, when you're faced with something like that, especially because I didn't have a contingent plan. And looking back on, I probably should have been more self-aware to know that, the employer is going to do what's best for the employer. And I don't necessarily fault them because I signed a contract and I didn't necessarily meet every single point of that contract. So I guess I shouldn't have been so naive in listening to what the district manager was saying and at least had some sort of backup plan. But essentially the way things played out is over the next several months, so my wife, who was working part-time as a nurse, she went back full-time, and for several weeks, I think it was around, 2.5 months, I looked for a position, and things just, they just weren't coming together. And it was kind of out of desperation. I found a job which paid pretty good money. The hours were terrible. I kind of enjoyed what I did, just not where I did it and who I did it with. I don't want to get into all the specifics of it, but I was there for about 1.5 years. And as much as that was I was working, I don't even want to get into the details, but I just didn't see my family at all. But as a result of that, I then met some people who kind of moved me into another position, which ultimately moved me into the company I'm with now. So I am very thankful for the way things played out. Please don't get this wrong. As crazy as it has all been, my family is in a... Myself and my family, things are really, really good. So I appreciate everybody who reached out, who just had such kind things to say, was legitimately concerned about myself and my family, and it really, really means a lot. So got this new position. That was like the tail end of 2019. I moved into this position. And like I was so hyper focused on it. It's such a good job. I just wanted to do everything I could to just focus on that and learn as much as I could, make that first year, just go off without a hitch. So that's what I did all 2020. I mean, it was just feet to the fire, go every day. And we had really good results as a result of that. It's a terrible way of putting it. But now that things are we've kind of stabilized, I feel like, the family is in a good place. I can now sort of turn my attentions back to other, creative passions that I have, so to speak. It's so funny when you're so focused on, your family and just the day-to-day and trying to make ends meet and just the pressure that all creates. It's really, really hard to be creative. So, I say I can't believe it's been 3 years since since this tweet right here. But at the same time, thoughts of doing the channel, they evaporated overnight. And it's really hard to be creative when you're in those moments. So it seems like forever ago, but it happened so fast. And now here we are. So, what does that all mean exactly? Let me pull up something. I guess I probably should have had this pulled up. And I'm sure my internet, when I say our internet is bad, what I mean by that is I ran a test before I came down here. Like you can see, like I'm typing in. This probably has more to do with the fact that I'm recording a bunch of different stuff, but I ran a speed test before I came down here. I was pulling 2.5 down, like 0.7 up, which obviously makes it really, really difficult to do any sort of content creation, and absolutely live streaming is just it can't happen. Okay, I'll just put it that way. And you can see as a result, like this is what I'm dealing with right now. Like I just typed in this website and it may come up here in the next 10 minutes, but that's kind of exactly a perfect example of what I've been dealing with. So why am I excited for 2021? Again, a lot of things have all come together as far as job, timing of all that, and now this. So Starlink, if you live in a place where you have good internet, you probably don't know a whole lot about this, but this is Elon Musk. So if you've read anything about this is the satellites that he's sending up with the main intention of bringing internet to rural places that don't have access to your normal internet providers, which is this guy. And I have seen speed tests. So this is in beta. There's actually people that have their hands on this thing now that are testing it out. I have seen speeds, and I know some of you are going to laugh at this, but I've seen speeds down like between 50 and 150, and upload speeds, I think somewhere like around 15, 20-ish, which I know standards are amazing, but compared to what I have now, that would be enough to propel me back into, like, honestly, full-time content creation, and more importantly, live streaming. If there is one thing that I learned doing the channel, is the longer I did it and the more live streaming I did, the more I loved to live stream. For those of you that have channels, who have attempted it, who have had success or not, there's just something about it, man. You know what I'm talking about. It's just a lot of fun to sit down and just be with everybody every night, and to laugh and to cut up and to have a good time, and to do it with people that are playing a game that we're all like as passionate about, together. And so that is really kind of what I have been holding out for. So obviously a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this wasn't even a thought. So the way that this has all come together, I think it's meant to be, I guess is the way that I'll put it. There isn't an exact time frame on when I'm going to be able to have access to this. From what I have read just about everywhere, the reporting that I can find,
pretty much all signal and indicate that this is going to be available by the end of 2021 to everybody. So they're going to start rolling it out, I guess, to different geographical locations in the States. And then as they send out more satellites, it'll open up to more people. I signed up as soon as I could for there's a beta testing program going on right now. I have the app on my phone, like just fingers crossed, hoping I get the email to be able to beta test this thing. But I think it's like $500 to buy the receiver, and then I think it's like $100 a month, which really I pay like, I don't think it's $200, but really close to $200. I think it's like $160, $170 for what we have right now. So I am all for paying $100 a month, even if it comes with an upfront cost of $400 or $500. So what is my time here? 15 minutes plus the intro. Okay. I feel like I rambled a lot there. I had a lot that I wanted to get off my chest. I still feel like there's a lot more that I could say, kind of looking back over everything, lessons I've learned, things maybe I took for granted, different things I could have done. But when it's all said and done, I keep rubbing my hands right in front of my microphone, so I apologize if you've heard me doing that this whole time. By the way, God bless all the crappy equipment that I bought 4 years ago now at this point. Like, just seeing it all again and it's working, even though it's so crappy, like, it brings a burp, but also a small tear to my eye. This dumb little microphone, this is the Blue, I always want to call it the Blue Ball. It's the, it's the Snowball by Blue. And I have spent a lot of time in front of this microphone, and I'm so happy to see it again, even though it is so crappy. I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning too, like I'm trying to record this through my iPhone. I'm not sure if it's going to work out very well, but hopefully it's better quality than the last one I did. Yeah. Let me cut this for just a split second, gather my thoughts, and see if there's anything else I want to say, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay, there are just a couple things that I want to mention. I mentioned it in the last video. I think I've mentioned it already. Thank you so much for your support. I looked, and I think we're at like 85-ish, 100 subscribers, something around there, which is just crazy because we haven't done anything in 3 years, and I think I was at like 10.5. I don't know if I hit 11,000 subscribers. So we've only lost like 20% of the subscription base, which is nuts. Like, what are you guys doing? Yeah, it means a lot from the bottom of my heart. It really does that you guys have stuck this one out. So thank you very much. I can never say it enough for your overwhelming support. And then I guess the big question on everybody's mind is, so does this mean I am back in the game?
I love donuts.